News this morning. The Senate approved a first step to push through legislation that could end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. And Attorney General Russell Coleman is asking the court to overrule Governor Beshear and sign a death warrant.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this Monday, November 10th. It's 6 o'clock this morning, and Megan, it is chilly outside today. We've got that snow on the horizon for lots of folks out there, so get your hats, get your gloves, and most importantly, that coat.
Yes, I would second that. It's going to be cold. You're going to need anything you can put on you to keep you warm throughout the next several hours. And in fact, as we look at the snow chance, take a look towards Indiana, where we saw some of the heavier snow earlier. That is what's making its way towards eastern Kentucky as we're heading into the afternoon hours. So a lot of snow is on the way right now, though. Just looking at a little bit of some flurries here and there, nothing serious this morning. But again, heavier snow chances are on the way later today. In terms of temperatures, though, it is going to be cold. Amelia's not joking about that. Make sure you're wearing your gloves, hats, scarves, whatever you can. And that will continue, unfortunately, into the afternoon. Not going to see too much relief as we're heading into the early afternoon, as temperatures only really get into the low 30s. Still seeing those chances of snow even into the afternoon. So keep that in mind today. It is going to be cold all day long, and we're having elevated wind gusts, so those feels like temperatures will be even cooler as you're heading throughout the day. Amelia.
Thanks, Megan. A retired UPS pilot is sharing insight into Tuesday's deadly UPS plane crash in Louisville. Bill Kite flew for the company for more than 30 years and says the crew on board likely had no way to save the aircraft. He believes the plane suffered what's called an uncontained engine failure, which caused the engine to separate from the plane, making it unflyable. Investigators with the NTSB are still working to determine exactly what went wrong.
There was an uncontained failure of the fan disc on the #1 or the left engine that caused it to separate from the airframe.
Kite says the crew was highly trained, and he's certain they did everything they could to land that plane. As a deal to end the government shutdown is taking shape in Washington, this weekend saw chaos at many of the nation's airports with canceled and delayed flights. Bradley Blackburn has more about what travelers can expect.
At airports around the country over the weekend, frustration was in the air.
We put all our eggs in this basket.
My flight's been delayed about 3 hours.
Just trying to get home.
According to FlightAware, on Sunday, more than 2,900 flights were canceled and more than 10,000 were delayed. Ripple effects after the FAA ordered flight cuts at dozens of the nation's busiest airports.
Our best case scenario is that we'll be able to leave here in 2 hours.
TSA agents and air traffic controllers are still being asked to work without pay, and some are calling out sick or quitting. Staffing shortages are impacting operations in many hubs.
The United States of America cannot pay its people. That's shameful.
If the shutdown continues, the chaos could get even worse. The FAA's 4% reduction is expected to rise to 6% Tuesday and 10% by Friday. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is warning about what could happen by Thanksgiving.
What's going to happen is you're going to have air travel slow to a trickle.
Major rental car companies are reporting a sharp increase in bookings as more flyers look for alternative ways to get to their destination.
Travel is stressful enough, and then you put these disruptions in place, and it really makes everything more challenging.
Challenges in the air as Washington tries to get a deal to end the shutdown off the ground. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Already today, there are more than 1,400 cancellations, a number that could definitely rise. Atlanta and Chicago were two of the major hubs that saw the worst impacts yesterday, and wintry weather conditions are making that situation even worse. Well, it's now day 41 of the government shutdown. The Senate approved a first step to push through legislation that could find the longest government shutdown in U.S. history after a group of mostly moderate Democrats made a deal with Republicans. The Senate and the House still need to approve the full measure. Democrats had demanded any funding package include expiring health care subsidies. The deal grants them a vote next month on extending the tax credits.
All of us, Republicans and Democrats, who support this bill know that the time to act is now.
This was the only deal on the table.
It was our best chance to reopen the government.
Democrats had voted no 14 times to reopen the government until this deal was negotiated. If approved, it would also reverse the layoffs of government employees during the shutdown. Well, it's been a decade since the Supreme Court's landmark ruling to allow same-sex couples across the nation to marry. Now, the more conservative U.S. Supreme Court justices are weighing a long-shot bid to overturn that decision. The pending appeal comes from Eastern Kentucky and Kim Davis. She's the former Rowan County clerk who refused court orders to issue same-sex marriage licenses in 2015 due to her religious beliefs. The Davis appeal is one of dozens the justices are considering in a private meeting that happened Friday. The court could announce as soon as today what it will do with the case. It could also hold the appeal for weeks, which often happens when one or more justices want to write an opinion about a decision to deny a case. Well, Governor Andy Beshear announced a new step to prevent the sale and distribution of a dangerous substance here in Kentucky. His administration is working to make an addictive form of kratom illegal to sell or possess. Alyssa Williams explains what kratom is and sits down with a man who's used the substance in the past to learn how dangerous it can actually be.
This is a powerful.
Governor Andy Beshear announced Wednesday his administration is taking action to ban the sale of 7-hydroxymidragenine, or 7-OH, which is a byproduct of the kratom plant. His administration wants to classify the drug as a Schedule I narcotic in Kentucky. Products like shots, powders, and capsules that contain 7-OH can be sold over the counter.
It affects your body kind of like an opiate. If you use like lower dose amounts of it, it kind of acts as a stimulant. But if you take the higher doses of it, your body reacts to it like it would like painkillers or fentanyl or heroin or something along those lines.
Josh Vanover is a recovery coach and manager of the Recovery Cafe in Lexington. He says these products can be highly addictive. When he was in recovery, the products were easy to find and weren't flagged on a drug test.
If I was just going into treatment to stay out of trouble or something like that, but I still wanted to keep getting high, like I could use Kratom whenever I would go in there. And the thing is that I really didn't think about it at the time, but after extended use and a high dosage of use, your body starts to go through like that physical dependency and withdrawal symptoms and all of that.
Vanover says he's in full support of Beshear's administration taking these steps.
It does kind of make me hopeful that fewer people will have to experience the things that I've experienced and go through some of the things that I've been through, and that families will have to experience the things that my family has been through as a result of my addiction.
Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
The Beshear administration says the Cabinet for Health and Family Services is working to classify isolated and concentrated forms of 7-OH as Schedule I substances, which is the same category as heroin, LSD, and fentanyl. If this happens, this will allow law enforcement to remove products containing 7-OH from retail shelves statewide. Attorney General Russell Coleman is asking the court to overrule Governor Andy Beshear and sign a death warrant for Ralph Bays. He's convicted of killing a sheriff and a deputy in Powell County more than 3 decades ago. Bays was sentenced to death in 1994. Coleman has previously asked Beshear to sign a death warrant for Bays. The governor hasn't signed it, saying the state hasn't gone through the full regulatory process and lacks the drugs needed for executions.
Get ready for those cold temperatures this morning as most folks are in a mixture of the upper 20s as you're heading out the door. Only a couple folks hanging into the low 30s, 30 degrees right now in Boonville and Prestonsburg, 32 in Whitesburg, 31 in Grundy. The moral of the story is it's very cold this morning with fast wind speeds making those feels like temperatures even chillier, and we're not going to see much of relief as we head into the afternoon as high temperatures only sit in those low 30s, and we're going to see those snow chances throughout the morning, but heavier snow is on the way as we're heading into the afternoon and evening hours. All snow chances will be clearing out by 8 to 9 p.m. There's the good news there with high temperatures for the day around 1 p.m. You can expect sunrise at 7:08 a.m. Amelia.
Thanks, Megan, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning at 6:09. Coming up, a new survey finds consumer sentiment about personal finances and the economy is nearing record lows.